No, I don't think we should worry about Dr. Corwin's testimony. I mean, he told the court point blank that he wasn't even sure your mother understood the question.
Draper, that doesn't matter. The jury still heard him say that when I asked Margot to tell me that you were innocent, she said no.
Well, I think you handled it in the cross-examination very well.
Well, I really think Dr. Corwin would like to be on our side.
The question is, was Margot on our side?
What do you mean by that?
I think maybe your mother was being spiteful.
How can you say that? Margot would never deliberately implicate you.
Oh, wouldn't she?
No,
well, there is, you know, another possible explanation, possibility that she might have understood you to say was Draper guilty, not innocent.
That's just what Dr. Corwin admitted, that in her weakened condition, it's quite likely that she didn't hear the question or wasn't able to give a coherent answer.
God, I certainly hope the jury takes that into consideration. Mike, do you know how many more witnesses the prosecution plans to call?
As far as I know, only 2.
Well, they could call it.
But it's not the quantity that counts, it's the quality, and that's where we have them beat.
Well, how many are you going to call, Mike?
In all probability, just 1. I couldn't hope for a better witness.
Honey, the jury's filing. Maybe you better sit down.
All rise. Hear ye, the criminal court of the county of Monticello is now in session. The Honorable Martin Oliveri presiding. Be seated.
Is the prosecution ready?
You are, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Nelson. Would you call your next witness?
Yes, sir. If it please the court, we'd like to call Mrs. David Hansen.
Mrs. David Hansen, please take the stand.
How long were you and David Hansen man and wife?
We were married for 32 years.
In those 32 years, did he ever discuss matters which concerned him at the office?
Yes, quite often.
Were you aware that there was an opening in the criminal law division of his firm?
Yes, he told me they were looking for someone to head up the division, and they were having a difficult time finding someone.
Is there a candidate for that job here in the courtroom?
Yes. Draper Scott was being considered.
It's a good job, wasn't it?
A very good job.
One that any lawyer would covet. One that he would go to any lengths to get.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is leading the witness.
Your Honor, this is a highly relevant point. I'm trying to establish the importance of this job.
Sustained. Mr. Nelson, please concern yourself with the facts in this case.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Hansen, what was your husband's position at Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside?
He was a senior partner.
With the power to hire Mr. Scott?
Well, in this particular case, all of the senior partners had to give the same approval.
And did your husband give him the green light?
No, he rejected him.
In fact, your husband was the only senior partner to reject Mr. Scott. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Well, why? Did he do badly at the interview?
My husband never met with Mr. Scott.
But did your husband usually make such important decisions without the benefit of a personal interview?
No.
Did he give you a reason why?
Well, he said that he'd been checking into Mr. Scott's background and decided that he just wasn't qualified for the job.
So the possibility of Draper Scott working for the firm of your husband ended there, correct?
No. Some of my husband's partners had met with Mr. Scott before and were very impressed with him. They put pressure on David to reconsider. Mr. Carr, Michael Carr, even came to my husband and urged him to give Mr. Scott a second chance.
And did your husband reconsider and meet with Mr. Scott again?
Well, he agreed to another meeting.
And what was the result of that meeting?
It never took place.
Why not?
Well, one day my husband came home and told me to pack my bags. He said we were going on a European vacation that we'd been planning for some years.
Once again, leaving the defendant, Draper Scott, in the lurch,
My husband promised to meet with Mr. Scott as soon as we returned.
Only, while you were away, the position was filled by a candidate that Mr. Hansen had already approved.
Well, the truth is that my husband was avoiding Mr. Scott. He had no intention of meeting him.
Oh. Why would your husband treat the defendant, a man that he'd never met before in his life, so cruelly?
Well, I only learned the truth a short time ago, just before my husband died. The first rejection was based on advice from a friend of David's, someone who knew Mr. Scott and said that he wasn't right for the job.
And who was that friend?
Margot Huntington.
Also known as Margot Dorn. It's a very small world, isn't it? Now, just exactly did Mrs. Dorn exert such influence on your husband?
Well, several years ago, my husband was her legal advisor. And they were friends.
Oh, I know this is hard on you. What else did you do?
When the second meeting was rescheduled, Margot Huntington got wind of it, and she telephoned my husband and told him that on no account was he to keep that appointment.
Why?
Apparently, she was determined to keep her daughter, April Scott, here in Monticello. She was willing to go to any ends.
And did your husband agree not to keep that appointment?
Yes, reluctantly. Because that woman blackmailed him.
Blackmail? It's a very strong word, especially in a court.
It's the only word.
Just how did she blackmail him?
She threatened to tell me about their relationship several years ago. But there was no need for him to give in to that blackmail because I knew about the affair. I'd forgiven it in my heart years ago.
However, your husband didn't know that. And in order to spare you any pain, he agreed to do as Mrs. Dorn suggested, correct?
Yes.
But Draper Scott never knew the real reason why he didn't get that job. Until you decided he should know the truth.
Yes, I wrote to him. And I told him I had some information that would be very important to him. This was right after my husband died. I suggested that the next time he came to New York, he should come and visit me. Well, he came the same day that he got the letter.
The same day that he got the letter. He obviously was very upset over not getting this job. Now, when he was in New York, you told him the truth about his mother-in-law, correct?
Yes, I did, and I'm sorry now that I did.
Why?
I didn't want to cause him any more pain. I certainly didn't want to incite him to anything rash.
Objection. That answer is not responsive and prejudicial.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
The objection is sustained. The answer will be stricken.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mrs. Hansen, what reaction did you see exactly when you told Draper Scott the truth about his mother-in-law?
Well, he was upset, of course.
Upset is a rather vague word. Wouldn't angry be more accurate?
Well, yes, I suppose so, but it's perfectly
In fact,
natural...
wouldn't you say that he went into a rage?
Objection. The witness is being led.
Sustained.
All right, Your Honor, we'll approach this a different way. Now, Mrs. Hansen, what were the exact words that Draper Scott said to you before he left?
I don't remember
Mrs.
exactly.
Hansen, you gave us a deposition. Now, in that deposition, you stated precisely the words that he said. Now, if you like, I could read that deposition to the court.
No, I can remember. He said that he was going to take a long walk to cool off. He said that he had another meeting to attend, and he couldn't go to it feeling the way he did.
Feeling how?
He said he felt like smashing things.
He felt like smashing things, Thank you very much, Mrs. Hansen. No further questions.
Mr. Carr, do you wish to cross-examine?
I do, Your Honor. Mrs. Hansen, how many times have you met Draper Scott?
Just once.
Just once. That first meeting in your apartment.
Yes.
So you really don't know Mr. Scott, do you? You don't know what he's like, how he reacts when he's happy or angry, or much about him, do you?
No, of course not.
And during this one and only time you met him, did he say anything specific about what he was going to do based on the information you had given him?
No.
This natural anger he felt, did you interpret it as murderous rage?
Oh, no, I certainly didn't. I certainly didn't look like the sort of person...
Your Honor, we object.
That's all right, Your Honor. I have no more questions. Thank you, Mrs. Hansen.
Chief, I just cannot bring myself to do it.
And what happens the next time this lady decides she has an enemy, goes out and finds herself a walking drugstore again and starts this whole process all over?
She wouldn't dare.
And what if her next victim isn't as lucky as you and Miles were and doesn't find out in time? You want that on your conscience?
Look, I cannot bring charges against her. It could only lead to an unpleasant court scene.
Inquests aren't much fun either.
Look, I cannot. I don't want Owen to suffer with this woman anymore. Don't you understand? I don't want to cause him any more pain.
I think your loyalties are very misplaced.
All right, why don't you call Miles Cavanaugh and get him to bring charges against her? He was as much a victim as I was.
The only thing Miles wants to think about now is detoxification.
Well, it just isn't fair. The woman's practically getting away with murder.
Hey, whoever said life was fair?
And I still think that Elliott Dorn should be on trial instead of Draper Scott.
Just because the man doesn't have an alibi doesn't mean he's guilty. Now, look, Detective, I'd like to help you out on this, but the facts simply don't warrant any further investigation.
Well, I am going to go out and find something.
Miles and I go back a lot of years. I would like to help.
Well, when I called you, I intended to ask you to help me to convince him to go into some sort of therapy, but I don't think that's going to be necessary now.
What makes you so sure that the crisis has passed?
Because his behavior was caused by drugs. It's an incredible story. But someone put some amphetamines into his water cooler, and he didn't know about it.
Oh, dear Lord.
The past month, Miles has been on drugs.
Well, that would explain it.
He thought that he was inheriting his mother's schizophrenia.
When Miles came to see me a couple of weeks ago, he was acting strangely. He was hyperactive. His speech was rapid. I couldn't help but wonder if he wasn't under the influence of some kind of stimulant.
Well, did you tell him what you were thinking?
I never got the chance. No sooner did he get here than he told me he really didn't have a problem, and he left.
Yes, he told me about that visit.
This must be very difficult for you.
It's been a nightmare. He had flashes of blind jealousy. He threatened me with violence. He accused me of being unfaithful to him, and he said that I would have to pay. The reason he moved out of the house was he was afraid that he would go into a rage and hurt me.
Well, thank goodness he had the presence of mind to take that precaution.
Yeah. But now, he knows what the problem is and he's staying away. I'm still worried about him.
Miles is just being cautious. It takes time to rid one's system of amphetamines. There could be a lingering effect of the drug. He might even experience withdrawal symptoms. He doesn't want to put you through that.
Well, don't you think he'd be better off in a hospital?
Now that Miles is aware of what he faces, I think you should trust his judgment.
Oh, I wish I could trust his judgment.
Trust him. Just don't expect an overnight cure, that's all.
No, I suppose I shouldn't.
There's one more thing, Nicole. There's something regarding Miles' actions I think you should be aware of. Even though Miles' behavior was extreme, the thoughts and feelings he expressed may very well have a base, albeit a small one, in reality.
I don't understand.
Miles didn't just create his jealousies and guilts. These are issues he may not even be aware of, buried deep in his subconscious. He may still have some insecurity over the strength of your marriage.
Dr. Perry, I assure you, Miles has absolutely nothing to worry about as far as my feelings for him are concerned. I love him. Whatever I have to do to help him get better, I assure you I'm going to do.
Of that, I have no doubt.
Thank you for your time. I guess I better be running along.
Nicole, just remember, be patient with him.
Thank you.
Nuts, would you just give it a
Look,
rest?
this is slanderous. This is libel. Look, I could sue. This one I'll sue for slander, and this one I'll sue for libel. This is what I get for being such a great attorney. Why, if I were an average run-of-the-mill assistant district attorney, you would assign somebody else the privilege of sending Draper Scott off to prison.
Don't complain to me. You're the one who wants your name to become a household word, right?
Yeah, but somehow I never wanted it in the same category as acne and bad breath. Boy, I'd be more popular around this town if I were prosecuting Mary Poppins for carrying an umbrella without a license today. There's this old lady, and I thought I'd help her across the street. And she refused me flat. Boy, Mom never treated me that way before.
Sticks and stones, Cliff. Sticks and stones.
Oh, I just wish Draper Scott would confess. Save me all the embarrassment of this hate mail.
I think that it's a little unreasonable of you to want a man to confess to something that he didn't do.
Boss, which trial are you looking at? Come on, all that evidence says that he's guilty.
Hey, we're not in the courtroom now. I have my opinion. Let's just drop it, okay, huh?
Yeah, I wish I could. Tomorrow I got to put Deborah Saxon on that stand. Boy, after she puts the last nail in Draper's coffin, any chance of me and Scarlett living happily ever after will be gone with the wind.
Why you inflict yourself on that nice young woman is just beyond me.
Because she loves me.
Thank you. Yes, Kathy. She is? No. Send her in, please. Guess who's here? The light of your life.
Really? Hey, wait a minute. Before you let her in, hold it. How do I look, boss? Okay?
That's the best you can do?
Hey, my only chance is to make her think I'm suffering because of this case. All right, now, I'm ready. Let her in.
Come in, please, Deborah.
Hello, Logan. I'm glad you could see me on such short notice.
Well, hello, Deborah. I'm sorry I couldn't get up.
Just don't pay any attention to her.
I try not to. Logan, if you've got some time, I would like to talk about Draper's case.
Oh, you want to go over your testimony? I suppose we could have dinner, but look, at nothing romantic, please. I got a headache tonight. Maybe 7 o'clock?
No, thank you, Cliff.
8 o'clock?
I want to talk to
9
Logan
o'clock?
alone.
Hey, I'm the one who's in charge of this case, remember?
I said alone. Now, why don't you run on down to the docket clerk and see if there are any senior citizens you can prosecute for jaywalking?
That hurts, Deborah. That really hurts.
Cliff, could you do me a favor? Just wait outside just for a minute. I mean, there are some things I'd like to discuss with you when Deborah and I are done.
It's funny, you know, you didn't ask me to wait outside when you were begging me to handle the prosecution of this case.
Out.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Clarence Darrow ever put up with this disrespect.
Wonder if Clarence Darrow's boss had to put up with this kind of nonsense. Sit down. What can I do for you?
Logan, I know that Draper's your best friend. You don't believe he killed Margot.
That's true.
But you're also the district attorney, so you've got to do your best to convict him.
It's an interesting parley. It's painful, but it's interesting.
Yeah, well, the two do seem to be incompatible. But I think I've come up with a way in which the best friend and the DA can help Draper. Now, when you come right down to it, the case against Draper is based on nothing more than circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, but it's incredibly strong nonetheless.
Well, let's just make that circumstantial evidence work for Draper.
Fine. What do you have in mind?
We both know that Draper is not the only person who could have killed Margot Huntington.
Yeah, but Draper is the only one on trial.
Yes, I realize that we don't have enough facts to make a case against Elliott Dorn, but there's some pretty damning circumstantial evidence against him that would make him a wonderful suspect.
Oh, Deborah, we just can't go around pointing accusing fingers at people we'd like to believe.
But the guy has got the worst alibi in the world. He says he was out alone. And that was after he gave me 2 totally false statements regarding his whereabouts.
It doesn't put him in the penthouse, does it?
Doesn't negate the possibility that he was there either.
Point for you.
Elliott had just as strong a motive as Draper, perhaps more so.
I grant you that. But where's all this leading us? What are you getting at?
Reasonable doubt. Now, if we can get Elliott on the stand, get him to tell his story, the jury might have enough second thoughts about Draper's guilt, and that's all we need to get Draper off the hook.
Yeah, it might work. I mean, maybe Mike could call him. It'd be stretching the rules of procedure, Lon. I'd probably have to object.
Well, you could call him as a witness for the prosecution. You've got good reason. He was Margot's husband. He can testify to the court about his relationship with Margot and Margot's relationship with Draper.
I don't believe this. You want me to call a prosecution witness just so the defense can have a chance to cross-examine him? Cliff, come in here a minute, will you? I mean, there are some ethics involved with practicing law, in case you didn't know that.
Well, you two have a nice conversation?
Cliff, first thing tomorrow morning, we're calling Elliott Dorn to the stand. Kathy, get me a couple of blank subpoena forms, will you? Thanks.